Making a few shapes in Geometer's Sketchpad. So the first one I'm going to make is a square. So we're going to start off making a segment. We're going to go ahead and label this A and B. And now we're going to highlight the segment and this point to construct a perpendicular line. We're going to do the same thing with point B and highlight this, construct perpendicular line. Now we are going to make a circle that starts at A and comes out to B. So let's take our circle tool and go from A to B. Alright, now that we've done that, we're going to create a point up here where the circle meets the perpendicular line, and this will be point C. So now we have 3 points. We need one more side. So now we're going to highlight point C and highlight segment AB to construct a parallel line. This is now going to be our last point on our square, and this will be labeled D. So now we need to make our segments. Okay, now all we have left to do is hide the extra stuff. So I'm just going to hit Control. Oh, something popped up. Hit Control, hide perpendicular line, and then hide this parallel line, and then hide the circle. And now I can drag this down here and I can adjust it and it stays a square. Okay, now we're going to go up here and add another document. It's a blank page, and I'm going to label this rectangle since that's the next one I'm going to do. Alright, so to start this off, it's pretty similar to a square. We're going to do a segment. And I'm going to go ahead and label it A and B. Now we're going to do the same thing we did with the square. We're going to label A and the segment, construct a perpendicular line, and now we're going to do that with point B also. Let's unhighlight this. Okay, so now we have 2 lines. Now we're going to go over here and click on this line and highlight it. We're going to go to point on perpendicular line, and it just puts a random point somewhere on here. So now we're going to make this point C, and now we need another line right here to complete our rectangle. So we're going to click on point C and segment AB and construct a parallel line. Now this is our last point, and this is D. Now we have our rectangle, but we need to create the segments. So here to here, here to here, and here to here. We don't need to do AB since that's already a segment. Now we just need to hide the extra stuff. So we're going to hide this, and this, and this. So now we have a rectangle, and when I can play around with it and drag it, make it a little bigger, can make it longer. So that's our rectangle. Now we're going to go up here, create another document, and this one will be our rhombus. Okay, so just like the other ones, we start off with a segment. And go ahead and label it A and B. And now we're going to select A and the segment and we're going to go up here, and now we're going to construct a center by radius. This is basically like what I did earlier, but this is a quicker way to do it. So now we're going to put a point on the circle. So it just chose a random spot and it chose it down here, so I'll just leave it there for right now. So now we're going to label it C. And now we can hide this circle. We don't need it. Okay. So now we're going to select the point C and segment AB. And we're going to once again create a circle. And we want another circle, so we got to highlight that. And we're going to select B and segment AB and construct another circle. So now where these intersect is where our last point will be. So right here. And we are going to label that D. So now we can create the segments. From here to here, here to here, and here to here. And now we want to get rid of the circles. And now we have our rhombus. Okay, now we're going to go to the next one. Blank. And this one's our parallelogram. Alright, once again we start off with one segment. Label it A, B. This just kind of makes it easier to keep up with where you're clicking and stuff. Now we're going to create a random point. I'm just going to put it right here. And I'm going to label it C. And now we're going to connect C and B. Could have also made a segment, but it's another way to go about it. So we're going to click on C, unhighlight this one, and click on a B segment. And we're going to construct a parallel line. Now we're going to do the same thing for A and CB and construct another parallel line. So you're already starting to see this shape set up. So now, well, we can't see over here, but we need to create a last point, and this will go right here, and that'll be our point D. And once again, we need to create our segments. Okay, and now we need to hide the excess lines. And now, oh, one more line. And now we have our parallelogram. Drag it and play with it. So, alright, let's go to the next one. Another blank page. And this time we are doing a kite. Once again, construct A and B segment. And then click on the segment, and now we're going to create a midpoint. With this midpoint and the segment, we're going to construct a perpendicular line. This is almost like our cross in the middle of the kite. Now we're going to create our kite. So from A, we connect it to this line. From here to B, and we need the bottom of our kite. And now all we have to do is get rid of the extra stuff. Let's get rid of this one, this line, and in the middle. So now we have our kite, and we can move it around and play with it. So there's our kite. And our last one to do is a cylic quadrilateral. Okay. Oh, whoops, I've just renamed this. Let me redo this. This is kite. Now let's go back up here and we're blank page. Now this is our cylic quadrilateral. Okay, so this one actually doesn't start with the segment. This starts with us making a triangle. Okay, once you've made your triangle, let's label it A, B, and C. Now we're going to select point C and line AB and construct a parallel line. And now we're going to select A and BC and construct a circle. So now we need to make our last point where the circle and the parallel line meet. So put that there and label it D. Now we need to connect all these segments. We don't want a triangle. So this is starting to look like a trapezoid almost. And now we can get rid of these extra lines. But we're going to keep this circle since this is a cylic. And we can see how they play together. And D is connected to it. So, alright. And that is all of our shapes that we're going to do. So there's the cylic quadrilateral, the kite, the parallelogram, the rhombus, the rectangle, and the square. And I've done the drag test at each one to make sure they can move and are consistent to their rules. Some of the challenges I've come through by doing this is making sure that I'm using the right tools at the right time. Sometimes I get my tools mixed up, and another issue I had was keeping up with what's highlighted, because that can really mess you up. But other than that, it's pretty simple to make these shapes, and they come in handy in different lessons and stuff. Thank you.